3 years. I didn't realize it was. But
I guess 3.5.
But so you started.
Literally July of 2020.
That's incredible. So you started in Hot Breath.
Mm-hmm.
That was your first.
I
should have looked back. I should have walked down memory lane before this, because I know we've had a lot of interaction, especially during the pandemic. I should have gone back and looked, because I'm sure there was a lot going on there.
I basically, like, the pandemic happened. I got sent home to work from home. I FaceTimed with a friend, and I made him laugh a bunch, and he was like, you should try stand-up comedy. And I looked up stand-up comedy classes in Jacksonville, Florida, and I found one. I went. I learned how to write a joke, and then I started, like, just Googling anything and everything, and I bought, like, the stand-up comedy Bible.
Mm-hmm.
I bought, like, How to Kill in Comedy by Steve North. I listened to your podcast, and then I think it was the podcast notes that led me to the Facebook group, to then led me to do, like, the word of the day, and then I would do Zoom sessions with people in there. I started listening to Breaking Down Bits with Drew Jordan, and like I just started, like, kind of diving in. And then it was probably like the fall of 2020 where I was, like, really, like, doing word of the day every day. I was, like, in the bathroom checking the live stream. Like, I was in it, dude. I was in it.
Let's go.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, I did over 400 days of live streaming, and then,
that was crazy.
And then had a breakdown and didn't do it
I don't
anymore.
blame you. That was so much. And there was a point
where
where
I, like, cried.
Yeah, there was a point where it was like, okay, the pandemic is, like, not over, but it's like things are happening again.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, maybe we can ease up on the live streaming and, like, go out and actually do an open mic. I don't know. That would be cool.
You seem to have really excelled in the Florida scene very quickly. Like, you seem to be booking cool shows. I remember seeing
Thanks.
very quickly there. What do you attribute to that? Just DMs?
Yeah.
This is people wanting to book your feet for the show.
I mean, it's hard. I always have a hard time answering that question, because, like, I want to say it was just because I worked hard.
And you're funny.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah, you definitely
but, like,
always were. Yeah.
It is tricky, because I think a lot of the time, you know, there is a little bit of, like, being a female comic and being one of a few, because I noticed in Florida that there weren't nearly as many female comics as there are, like, in Atlanta or Denver or San Diego or literally anywhere else. Like, and I think it's because Florida is a very tough state to do comedy in for anyone. And so, especially for women, when we're kind of faced with this, like, weird energy of, like, all right, I'm constantly in front of older people. I'm in front of a lot of white people. I'm in front of a lot of conservative people. How do I navigate this without them immediately being like, oh, there's a woman on stage, I'm not into this. Or, oh, she's a woman, she's going to talk about her period, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I just pushed through the bullshit, and I just kind of was like, whatever, I don't really care. Like, I'm just going to do my jokes, and if you don't like me, then don't book me. And I asked a lot of questions. I went to shows that I wasn't booked on just to, like, hang out with the headliner and be like, hey, like, how'd you write that joke? And stuff like that. And then I got lucky that a few, like, local headliners kind of took me under their wing and started just being like, if you want to do a guest spot on my show, do this, or submit to this person. And I started realizing, I was like, oh, I got to get myself on tape so that I can submit to someone. So I filmed, like, a 5-minute set on my cell phone and then started submitting that. And then that got me into my first festival, weirdly enough. And then I did the festival, and then the tape that I got at the festival was even better, and I started using that to submit. So it all kind of, like, built upon itself.
Mm-hmm.
And I was also just insane, and I was willing to drive 4 hours to do 5 minutes, which a lot of people are not willing to do, and I completely understand. But I was just so into it that I was like, nothing is gonna stop me. I drove to Miami and back in one night just to, like, do a spot, because I just wanted to do it. So I think people realized that I was willing to do it, so they were like, all right, come do it.
You were just, like, persistent with it, and that really paid off.
Mm-hmm.
Because Miami, that's the whole length of the state, right?
Yeah, it was like a 5-hour drive. And I don't know. Would I do it now? Probably not.
Right.
But, like, I just wanted so badly to get funnier and to be seen and to show people that I could do it. So it was worth it to me.
So what made you take the leap to Denver now, which is a great scene?
What a great question, Joel. So
thank you. I've done a few of these in my day.
I grew up in Colorado, and I went to school there and everything, and my parents retired to Florida, so I got a job out of college. I hated it, and I followed them to Florida, got a job, started working at the college, and then started comedy. So then after maybe like 2 years of doing comedy, I was like, okay, I'm living in this small town right below Jacksonville. I feel like I've exhausted what I can do here. It seems like there's a lot of opportunity in Orlando and Tampa, kind of more central Florida. So I had the brilliant idea of moving to Orlando, Florida, which no one else thinks is a brilliant idea. I'll say that. And I moved there, and I immediately hated it. And not because the scene wasn't great. It's just Orlando is the armpit of the state. It is truly the dumpster fire of Florida, and people from Orlando know that. Like it's not a hot take, believe me. And I met my boyfriend who was living in Denver because I actually was lucky enough that a Florida comic took me to Denver to open for him, and I was like, hell yeah, I haven't been home since I started stand-up. This is gonna be really cool. And weirdly enough, my boyfriend was photographing one of the shows I was on. So we met. It was really cool. He and I started talking like over DMs or whatever. And then I moved to Orlando, and he came down to visit me, and we like started dating long distance, which was so hard. But I kept going back to Denver to like see him and do comedy. And I was like, wow, I miss home. Denver has a great comedy scene. I had no idea there was comedy in Denver. And I was in Orlando just unhappy for like 8 months, and I was traveling a lot outside of Florida just so I didn't have to be home.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, all right, you know what? I'm just gonna move to Denver, and I'm gonna jump into the scene there. And I knew a lot of people already because I'd been going back and forth. And so I moved there, and then it was the best decision I've ever made because I love Colorado. I love the people there. The scene is, in my opinion, like one of the best scenes in the country.
Definitely.
And definitely a step up in terms of like stage time. So yeah, I just was like, this is a no-brainer. I'm going to go home.